And now it's time for RoadWorthy Drive with Ken Chester.
Hey everybody, welcome to another hour of RoadWorthy Drive. I'm Ken Chester, your host. In studio with me, as usual, is executive producer Jack.
Hello.
And our social media Sasha.
Hello.
Trying to keep everything light and lively. During this hour, Uber goes autonomous with Volvo, and Mahindra expands production in the United States. I will explain who Mahindra is. Don't get excited. You're like, Mahindra, what?
I know who they are.
It's important, and we'll talk about it. For our topics, a large major organization goes to bat for U.S. businesses in China, and parking in the future, changes are coming. Actually, changes are here, and we'll talk about that. And then finally, battery storage. It's the next it thing in power, and why it matters to you. Some interesting developments. We'll talk about it here. Welcome again to RoadWorthy Drive behind the scenes. Enjoy. All right, Jack.
Okay, sir, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as I get all my mouses in place.
Mouses and Mises.
Yep. Oh, remind me to tell you about the moose story.
Oh, no.
Yay!
Here we go.
Do you want to go faster? Yeah!
It's time now for RoadWorthy Drive with Ken Chester, America's premier automotive news and information talk show. Now, here he is, that automotive journalist with the photographic memory, Ken Chester.
Welcome to America's premier automotive news and information talk show. That's right. You're tuned to RoadWorthy Drive with me, your host, Ken Chester. Thanks for dropping by. As always, there's plenty to talk about that you need to know for the week ahead. I got you covered, and we'll get to that in a moment. Now, Uber goes autonomous with Volvo and Mahindra. You probably haven't heard of them before, but no worries. I'll explain in a few minutes. Is expanding their American footprint in a surprising place. And both those topics are breaking news for this hour. We'll also be talking about SEMA's venture into China. That's great for American business. How parking in the near future is changing. And for the last segment, how battery storage is the next it thing in the power industry. To add your voice to the conversation, call or text me at the RoadWorthy Drive line. That number, 872-222-9793, or email me, ken@roadworthydrive.com. Either way, you will get through, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you. And here at RoadWorthy Drive, we practice safe driving during the hour when the show is underway, and I hope you do too. We're required to have an adult at the controls during this time. The man with the steady hands and ready comments is my good friend and RoadWorthy Drive executive producer, Jack DeLeon. Hey, Jack.
Hi, Ken, and you know what? I'm tired of being the adult.
Well, you know what? Too bad. According to the suits, you are the designated adult.
I can be the adult. Let me be the adult.
Exactly. The suit specifically said, not Sasha.
Exactly. I remember that.
Yeah.
Okay, Ken, so now I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
As we get into this week's topic.
Yes, sir.
Uber goes autonomous with Volvo.
Yeah, but before we do that,
all right.
Somebody mentioned something about a moose.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
I happened to be sitting in a restaurant this past weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And I kid you not,
Mm-hmm.
the clip you keep playing about moosin',
No.
quoted it verbatim.
Oh, my God.
Now, guys, for those of you watching and those of you listening, unfortunately, this is an inside joke that we do not have time to go into.
Oh, I will share it on our Facebook.
Yes, yes. I would.
Of course you will, Sasha.
I would tell you to share it on the Facebook, but I'm sitting there and I'm laughing uncontrollably, and my wife is looking at me like I've lost my mind.
Well, that's beside the point, and I think the suits would have talked to you about that.
You know the suits would have talked to me.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway, Ken, what is Uber and Volvo getting into here?
Well, folks, we've been talking for years now that this thing was going to get real, and it just did.
Okay.
Uber placed an order with Volvo for 24,000 vehicles with the technology to be autonomous. It is the first major solid order. They will start delivering them in 2019.
Okay. With or without steering wheel, brake pedal, and gas pedal?
You will have that stuff for now.
Okay.
But for the most part, this is the first real deal. They're estimating that, one, that's 4.5% of Volvo's total output. Two, it's worth about $1.4 billion. And three, like I said, it's less than 2 years away now. And they will start delivering them, not all at once. It will be a ramp up.
And didn't we talk about at some point here in the recent weeks that this kind of thing was going to start happening?
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of thought it was going to be right around 2019, 2020?
Well, remember, GM's plant that builds the Chevy Bolt, that's Bolt with a B, already has the capability to build fully autonomous vehicles on their assembly line.
That's true.
Volvo joins this crowd, but here's an interesting twist. The vehicle they're going to use is the XC90, which, if people have been paying attention...
It's a high, expensive vehicle.
Well, no. If people have been paying attention, it's the vehicle that Waymo uses, that Uber used in doing their testing.
Okay.
So they have some history with it. Here's the curveball. We've been talking about Volvo's new plant in America on and off on this program for a while.
Right.
Well, in 2021, when the second product they're adding is the XC90.
XC90, yeah.
Which means, quite possibly, those XC90s will be part of the batch that gets delivered from Uber to Uber, built in the good old US of A, just like the Chevy Bolt.
Okay, but the first ones that they're going to get...
will be built in Sweden.
Okay.
But that's coming once the plant's online.
Correct.
Remember, the Volvo plant in South Carolina is originally going to build the S60 sedan.
Right.
They're going to add the XC90 in 2021.
Okay.
So but here's the thing. We talk about, and I've talked a lot about, different things that come together in weird ways.
Yep.
Volvo's parent just bought a flying car company. Uber has Uber Elevate. They did a white paper last year on virtual takeoff and landing vehicles that they're going to launch in L.A., Dallas, and Dubai.
Okay, would you please explain to me what a white paper is?
A white paper is a position paper that a company or a government or somebody will write on a topic.
Okay.
Their research on a given topic. They've researched it. This is where we're at. This is what we're going to apply to it. And, think tanks do it. Governments do it. Nonprofits do it. In this case, Uber Elevate, which is their, for lack of a better word, flying car subsidiary, wrote a white paper on the whole thing of a virtual takeoff and landing vehicle, how they plan to implement it, what the resources are, what the challenges are, what the regulatory challenges are, the things they're working out with NASA. And we reported on that just a few weeks ago.
Correct.
So can you imagine? Let's see. I think this is the start of a major collaboration that's not just going to end with the XC90. So,
and why would they go with somebody like Volvo instead of Ford or GM?
Oh, I'm glad you said that, because Volvo's position in safety was probably a factor. Speed was another factor, meaning how fast Volvo could develop this into a commercial product that they could ship.
Okay.
Okay. Plus, the XC90, when they started talking about this a few years ago, was co-developed with Uber to develop the necessary redundancies in the car. Uber helped divide the cost of Volvo's development. So it became, they got closer and closer, and it became a no-lose proposition for both of them.
Okay.
Plus, number one, and some reasons make the deal. Number one, the chance to sell 20,000 plus cars don't happen too often. Two, they're calling this a robo-taxi. It's a new market, and they wanted to be the first one with a commercial product in the segment. And three, because they were first and they got it worked out, they're open to supplying this type of car to other ride-hailing companies.
Okay, now your other topic.
I have another topic?
Yes,
I do.
Yes, you do. Hang on.
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to figure this one out because you have perplexed me.
Uh-huh. Come on with it.
Mahindra comes to Metro Detroit. Now, for those of you that don't know, Mahindra makes tractors.
Yes, they do. In the United States.
In the United States. And there's some very nice-looking tractors.
But let me help you.
All right, go ahead.
Mahindra is actually part of a larger group that employs over 200,000 people in a variety of countries. They build cars in other countries. They sell cars in other countries, including South Korea.
Do they do it under the Mahindra name?
Some of them, and some of them are under, I believe it's pronounced Sasong Motors, which was one of the early second-tier fallouts. Sasong was going to come to the United States. They never quite made it about 15 years ago. They fell on hard times, and I didn't realize that Mahindra had bought them.
Oh, okay.
But they had. But here's the part that baffles me. Mahindra is building a small plant in Detroit, north of Detroit. Did someone say Union?
Somebody might have said Union.
Yeah, okay. Detroit, though.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not a on-road vehicle. It's an off-road vehicle.
Okay.
That has its top limit of 45 miles an hour.
Oh.
They're only going to build a few hundred of them a year, but it's a start. And Mahindra, which is an Indian company that makes tractors and all this other stuff, part of the Mahindra group, wants to sell cars, wants to sell autonomous cars in the United States.
Really?
Okay, is the Detroit plant building this vehicle that they're going to build immediately? Is that going to convert over to building autonomous cars?
I doubt it. It's too small.
Okay, then at what point or where does Mahindra go to get a plant to build the cars?
Ooh, I know this answer.
Good.
There's a plant for sale in Bloomington, Normal, Illinois, that's been vacant for 5 years.
The old Chrysler plant.
Well, Diamond Star Motors, which is Mitsubishi plant.
Oh.
And, you know, Sasha's friend Sergio has been trying to sell
Stop.
Fiat Chrysler for some time.
But he's not my friend, though.
Imagine if Mahindra picked up Jeep, picked up Ram, had the plants, it could launch from there.
They could.
Yeah.
And that would actually make sense on so many levels.
Could. Next up, SEMA seeks new business in China, and after that, parking in the future will change. This is RoadWorthy Drive.
RoadWorthy Drive is a cornerstone of the RoadWorthy Drive radio network.
Go ahead.
Mahindra expects in that small plant in Auburn Hills, which is an old engineering firm facility, actually, to build 5,000 off-road vehicles in the plant's first year. Now, to give you an idea of the auto industry, they already have research and development talent up there in the Metro Detroit area in Troy, Michigan.
How far is Troy?
Not that far. Kind of south of Auburn Hills, east of northeast. Used to be the home of Kmart. Troy, Michigan.
Yep.
Really?
Yes. To give you an idea of how they sling money in the auto industry,
Wow.
they are calling Mahindra's footprint in Detroit small. The investment, $230 million.
I got that.
Pocket change?
Pocket
Hey,
change.
bless your heart, darling.
I give that
But
as a
yeah,
tip.
I would say keep your eyes on Mahindra.
Not again.
What happened? She jammed up?
Mouse
The mouse in the house
is
Hold on.
is totally louse.
Still not coming up? And we said it was the first one, right?
I believe so.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing.
Hold on. Let me try the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hold on.
It moved a little bit, but then stopped.
Okay, hold on. Here we go.
There's probably a short in that
Oh boy.
that cable.
Well, that don't help me right now.
No, it doesn't, because I just unplugged both of them. All right, I'm going to unplug both of them at the same time.
Okay.
Okay? We're going to count to 10. I'm plugging both of them in. And I'm going to do them in the top one instead of the bottom one.
Okay.
They're both plugged in.
I got nothing.
You know what?
How do I?
Okay, so we're going to have to do the reset thing. again.
Before you do that,
No, I gotta figure out how in this program is it Control S to save it.
You did Control S the last time. What were you going to say?
Come here.
I'm sorry.
we're going to do a test.
Hey.
Unplug his, give him mine. Let's see if it's the mouse itself.
Okay.
I think it's the wiring in the mouse.
We're just going to see for, giggles, okay?
Yeah.
See if it works.
Problem is, I don't know which one is which.
Doesn't. Pull them both.
Okay.
Give him one.
Well, I can tell you.
And plug both of them.
Okay.
Here's one. Here's.
Okay, whatever you just plugged that into, wrong one. Because it's giving me that there's a new device.
Okay, then try another one.
Because now I don't have a mouse for the other one that I need.
Okay, try it now.
See all the fun stuff that happens around here.
Yeah.
Hey guys.
You get anything?
Okay, yeah, I am, but it's the wrong screen.
Wrong screen. So
Okay.
Okay, hold on just a second.
Yep.
Plug in the other one.
Yep.
But that tells me your mouse is faulty. You need to replace
Okay,
it.
well then I will leave a note for the gentleman that has this room.
Now.
And I'm still in the same. I'm still moving
Over here.
over here, and I need to be moving over here.
And
Okay,
that won't.
Try that mouse over there. Because it's now red. No, the other one. Because you see where it's got the red light
Okay, now this one is now moving this
over there.
over here,
Okay, so is this one moving?
and this one ain't moving it here. I've saved it. Let me.
We got to do the control. We've got to
We gotta do Control Alt Delete.
Okay, am
Fun
I
times.
unplugging Ken's?
Yes.
Yes.
Giving back my mouse.
Yes.
Not going to use the finger pad?
No.
I
have
can't
a
stand the finger
tremendous
pad anyway,
dislike
yeah.
For the finger pad.
Okay, so is it Control P for power?
Hold on, I'll be right there.
Because this one's lit, but it ain't got any.
It's not got any juice.
No.
Okay, so Control Alt Delete. Then you want to go. Then remember, we have to do the tab thing because you've got to.
Oh yeah.
We've got to get it to. Nope.
Task Manager.
No. Hold on. I don't think the arrow button worked, but go ahead and try it. Yeah, you have to hit the tab.
Okay.
So hold on.
And it ain't
There it
working.
says to cancel. Nope, because we got to restart it. Okay, there. Enter. We're going to have to restart the computer. And then we're going to hit yes. Right?
Yep.
And there we go. And then hopefully when it restarts. We'll set everything back up.
Yeah.
See, I don't just do social media.
What?
Sometimes. Of course, now it's on camera, so if I broke something in there, I have to replace the multi.
Can you go around here and hit the power button, please?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I did it from
The bottom one.
Mm-hmm. Fight the power.
there.
Okay.
Now that's weird because both of your mice are plugged into the top one,
That's weird.
right?
Here we
Probably
go.
need to leave a note for your boy.
Yeah. Have him
Tell
look
him
at.
we got some weirdness.
Yeah. I'll leave Mr. Ross a message.
All right. Now let's just make sure.
Okay, Ken. So now that we've got Mahindra
Mm-hmm.
going into Detroit.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're there. They're just building a plant to build stuff. They've got research and development.
Is
there
already there.
Yeah, in Troy and a few
Okay.
other places. So it's not like they're coming to Detroit for the first time, but they're actually building something there for the first time.
If Mahindra is going to either take over or build a plant, you said go to normal.
Yeah. I mean, if you're looking for a plant...
Can they get away from... I want to say this somehow so don't offend anybody.
I'm offended.
You always are. Get away from the union.
Okay, right to work state. Normal was not a union plant.
Really?
Let me think about that. Is that right? I might have misspoke because I'm thinking about that now. It might have been, but here's the thing. At the point is,
Hold on, give it a second. Because sometimes my mouse actually disappears when it's doing the load up.
okay, the point is that obviously the union is not the main concern. There's a whole lot of others. the beautiful part about the normal plant, those people want to work.
That's true.
And they'll make a deal. And plus, here's a 20-year-old plant. Now, here's a 20-year-old plant. Now, Nissan could probably still use it. Probably won't, because Mitsubishi now is kind of part of that Nissan, Renault, Mitsubishi combine.
Mm-hmm.
So theoretically, they still own the plant. They could use it for something else. But the fact that the plant's been empty that long, unless they've got a product plan for it, you know, it's way cheaper to get into that plant and upgrade it than to build a greenfield site from scratch. If they're trying to get up quickly and cheaper.
What the heck? Let's see.
Plus,
guys,
there's been
I
an
saved
influx
all of that.
Other companies from outside the
hang
United
on.
States
I gotta fix
coming
it.
to Detroit.
No. And I had saved all of those ahead of time, I thought. Oh, well.
Yes, no?
No, I just got to retype 3 files here. Okay, so where the hell is it, gentlemen? It says it already exists.
Okay.
And we're at date modified.
And we are already up to the top.
Oh, here it is.
You found it? Oh, yep. Hour 2.
I found it.
Segment 2, 3, 4.
File open.
Go to date modified.
No, it takes a second. So
Oh.
here we go. 2, 3, or 4, 3, 2. Go, go, go.
Okay.
Sir, I'm ready. See all the fun stuff you get to find out about radio and how it really works?
Yes. Great time. So yeah, I think that it's really interesting that, especially as automakers and the branding changes hands so many times, what it's actually going to look at 5 years from now, especially with, you know, as most people would know this company as, you know, a tractor manufacturer or farm equipment. Okay?
Right.
Worldwide, you only know that in the United States, but worldwide, I'll read you something.
Right, but here's my thing.
Pull your mic over, please, so we can hear you.
Yeah. I was saying that was in the United States, but worldwide, they're actually pretty elaborate. Really quick, I'm going to read this and then we'll move on. But hold on, I want to find the right page here so I get this straight. Yeah, okay. Let's just talk about the North American operations. Mahindra Automotive North America is Mahindra North American Automotive headquarters. In addition, leading all North American activity, they are a comprehensive automotive design, engineering, and vehicle development center. Established in 2013 and located in Troy, Michigan, their team of veteran executives, engineers, and designers working with affiliate Mahindra automotive teams in India, Korea, and Italy is playing a key role in growing Mahindra's global automotive business. Now, the group they belong to is a $19 billion, that's U.S., federation of companies that enable people to rise through innovative mobility solutions, driving rural prosperity, enhancing urban living, nurturing new businesses, and fostering communities. So yeah, they want a piece and turning Detroit around. But here's the thing. It has a leadership position in utility vehicles, information technology, financial services, and vacation ownership in India, and is the world's largest tractor company by volume. It also enjoys a strong presence in agribusiness, components, commercial vehicles, consulting services, energy, industrial equipment, logistics, real estate, steel, aerospace, defense, and two-wheelers. Headquarters in India, Mahindra employs more than 200,000 people across 100 countries, just so you know.
There we go. Here we go.
Not yet. Hold the phone. Almost there. Let me get this out the way. Let me get this where it needs to be. this so I can talk intelligently.
What?
And you have the next jingle queued?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Let's do it.
And away we go.
Yep.
Announcing your next car, the great new Chrysler. It can have a curved cockpit of glass and steel.
Your next car is here.
Your next car can give you sweeping visibility, more comfort, complete performance, and a joyous heart.
Chrysler, your next car is Chrysler.
Your next car is here, the great new Chrysler for 1969.
Your next car is here.
Welcome to segment 2 of RoadWorthy Drive. I'm Ken Chester. The Specialty Equipment Manufacturers Association, known to many by its initials as SEMA, is much more than its amazing annual trade show that they have each year in Las Vegas. And I can attest to that. Your imagination will be blown. 3 million square feet of exhibits. It fills the Las Vegas Convention Center inside and out. Probably one of the largest trade shows not open to the public. But by the amount of crowd, you'd never guess that. It's phenomenal. I was a guest last year, was addicted to life, want to get back, was not able to go this year, just recently ended here the beginning of this month. But if all goes well, I'll be there in 2018. Just imagine. Amazing. It is actually, SEMA, the organization, is actually an international organization of American manufacturers of all sizes. From the mom and pop operations on up that do an incredible job of representing those businesses around the world and giving them an opportunity to do business in what SEMA will tell you, the 95% of the world that is outside the United States. Now, honestly, I can't do justice for this organization during a time together because of their depth and their reach and all the major ways they support their manufacturers, which is phenomenal. But I can share one feature from their December 2017 issue of their monthly magazine called the SEMA News that talks about their recent efforts in China. Now, I want to be clear. If you're not familiar with my stand, so let me take a minute. I'm all about made in America because, honestly, if we don't make it here, the money doesn't get spent here. And a lot of companies do make things in America. But I want to counter with, the fact that everybody thinks everything is made in China. It's not. And this is a case. Now, the gal who wrote this piece, Linda Spencer, she is in their governmental and international affairs, an amazing woman. She's been with SEMA, about 24 years or so. Very, very outgoing and vivacious and very active. She talked about the mileage she puts on outside the country every year, just going to SEMA events and helping SEMA members and manufacturers and basically introducing the world to the wares of the United States made by these people, made by each American manufacturer. And did I mention American manufacturing?
And we can talk about one in particular.
Absolutely.
Who is now having a boom over in China, if I remember correctly.
Actually, one of the 15 companies that went over there, and this is a disclaimer, we're talking about DZ Manufacturing. DZ Manufacturing kind of helped launch RoadWorthy Drive with Ken Chester, so we'll always have a warm spot in our heart for them.
Yes, we will.
It seems that our very own Jason Machina was over there, and he does travel a lot. But let me back up a minute, because I want to talk about some of the things you may not know, listener, about this whole thing. Now, they went over there. Customizing car culture is blossoming in China, and a group of SEMA companies flew out to Shanghai to check it out. They visited special equipment shops, was briefed by the U.S. government officials in the region, as well as local industry pioneers. But here's the thing. As a grassroots movement, and it's growing, some of the things that amazed me about this article is they said that, let me get it now, China's aftermarket industry is bigger than they expected. And one of the people who went over there said, and I quote, they want U.S.-made name brands and are not hesitant to pay for them. They regard stuff made in America, now this is in China now, stuff made in America for the car culture to be high quality and not afraid to pay for it.
But don't you also think that with the ability now of more Chinese people being able to get a car, that they want to spend the money to get good quality aftermarket products?
But here's the kicker. They're getting their aftermarket products for the American-made cars that they had imported over there.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's the thing. Because what we're talking about is customization. These folks have imported from U.S.-branded trucks and Jeeps, sport compacts, and every aspect of the aftermarket is represented in China, and they're yearning for aftermarket support. And now these new trends. Let me back up again. I want to say this. Chinese consumers are enthusiastic about their booming car culture and are continuously looking towards the United States for new trends and products.
Okay, quick question.
Yes, sir.
Are you telling me that some of the Chinese people are actually importing cars that were made in America over there?
Yes, I absolutely am. And not only that, they want to customize them much the same way we do customization over here. All kinds of ways. Personal customization, performance customization. That's what SEMA is all about. SEMA is, I believe, a little over 6,000 members, but everything from the mom and pop operation all the way up. In fact, DZ Manufacturing got solid as a manufacturer because of attending their first SEMA show back in '77. They brought back to the small company $1 million worth of orders.
And back in that day, it was huge.
Brother, in this day, it's pretty good size, too.
Well, exactly.
The desire for personalization and increasingly passionate enthusiasts in China market bodes well for U.S. companies. That's the point I want to make. But see, SEMA didn't just stop there. They've been in Russia doing the same thing, the Middle East, Australia, and other points. Point is that there is a very active, ongoing campaign to market American goods by American manufacturers, mom and pops as well as the big ones, overseas. As SEMA would like to tell you, they want to help you reach the 95% of the world that's not the United States. That 95% of their market opportunities is outside U.S. borders.
And that's a very large number.
Yes, sir, it is. And I just wanted my hats off to DZ, and I just want to make the point. American manufacturing, people, is not dead. Don't believe that stuff they're telling you. It's happening. With the Mahindra story, where companies are coming here, and we're marketing their stuff made in the good old US of A. And an interesting fun fact, all of DZ's factories are not only in the United States, but here in the very state we broadcast in the beautiful upper Midwest of America. So much for that. Coming up, parking in the future. Changes are coming. And for the last segment, battery storage is the new it thing for the power sector. The RoadWorthy Drive program is a dynamic part of the RoadWorthy Drive radio network.
Want more than your share of the road? Be sure to check out RoadWorthy Drive on Facebook.
Not that I want to rant or anything.
You rant?
Yeah, I know, right?
Hey, at least he didn't stand up.
Oh, now? Stay tuned. It might still happen.
Oh, I don't.
But the point is, here are we. You know, you hear the press and you're convinced the world that China is everything, we're nothing.
Yep.
But that's not totally the case, as is usually the truth is more murky than that.
Well, but what this all reminds me of is my favorite show on Discovery.
How It's Made?
No.
Oh, I love that show.
No. Gas Monkey. We like me some monkeys.
I'm going to let that be.
You let that be. But anyway, they have a guy that comes over here from Sweden who buys the old Cadillacs.
Well, while you're on that subject, there's a couple of brothers that come up from Australia. Do the same thing.
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen the show.
But the thing is, you think about it, where are they getting all of their aftermarket products? Here.
Well, I'll give you one example. In my travels, and I didn't really have an appreciation for it, I have a couple of online stores where I sell automotive literature.
Right.
Both on eBay and Amazon. And that's Vintage Automotive Media, in case you're wondering.
Nice plug.
Hey, not a problem.
Cha-ching.
Yep. Anyway. Until I went to Sweden, I didn't realize it until I saw PT Cruiser taxi cabs. Until I was going down the street with the group on a bus. We come up to a light and I look down the street, and there is a perfectly restored 1979 Dodge Aspen two-door, like it was built that morning. Blew my mind.
I'm sure it did.
To be honest, Western Europe, once you get outside the United States and Canada, my best customer. And Scandinavian countries and Western Europe, oh yeah. And for a long time, believe it or not, Australia.
Yeah, I could see that.
I've sold in Russia, I've sold in Israel, I've sold automotive stuff in India, I've sold it in the Middle East, I've sold it finally sold one in China, and I'm trying to think of the one that had me floored. Indonesia, where else? Japan, occasionally, all sorts of stuff. So pretty cool. I had no idea of the interest out there, and you'd be surprised what I sell.
Wow.
All over.
Okay,
Okay, 9 minutes, third segment.
Segment.
We be talking parking and some very interesting stuff that's going to blow your mind because it blew mine.
You mean the non-existent parking?
Wow. Hater. I'm ready, Jack.
I got nothing.
I know. I don't either.
Here we go. Quiet, please.
You got nothing, Sasha, really?
What?
Never mind. This is the third segment.
I had nothing.
Oh, my goodness. This is the third segment of this hour of Roadworthy Drive. Thank you for listening. I'm Ken Chester. For those of you out there who want or need more than your fair share of the road, check out the show website. That's www.roadworthydrive.com. Find audio clips of prior shows, video clips of our weekly behind-the-scenes in-studio antics, and more. The website is a great place also to find out what we've been up to in the world of social media. From Facebook to Twitter, our social media diva stays busy between shows during the week to bring you facts, news, and information that's light, lively, interesting, and informative. See how Sasha keeps the social in our social media, even if she doesn't have anything from time to time.
Now,
What?
Now,
I know.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Why would you use the term diva when we both know that's going to go to her head?
Too late.
I already got the tiara.
Oh, never mind.
Too late.
I'm behind.
Be sure to like us on Facebook. Here. Okay. Have you ever heard of a company called Conduent?
No.
Chances are they're probably messing with your life right now.
Okay, I'm going to let you explain this.
Okay. The company is bringing modern and updated parking solutions to cities across the United States in real time. And you guessed it, like everything else around you these days, things are changing. Let me talk about them a little bit. I stumbled across them, and in my travels, unfortunately, had to travel cross-country several times this past couple of months on some family things that needed to be taken care of. And I realized in looking at this piece that chances are I was interacting with a conduit system. For example, the tolls where you've got like Easy Pass is what they call it up here, Sun Pass they call it in Florida, probably a conduit system.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, and in Massachusetts, on the Mass Pike, they've done away with toll gates completely. And unlike Illinois, where you can still pay in coins, not on the Massachusetts Turnpike. It's all electric. They'll bill you.
And charge you a penalty as well.
Absolutely.
How about, now, that to me just makes absolutely no sense.
No.
I agree with that.
Excuse me. being from Massachusetts,
We're sorry.
Oh, wow. Hey, we were the only ones that didn't vote for Nixon in 72.
Is that wait?
I was
wait.
way too young for that. So, but,
Right,
you
and
know.
I think
Wow.
we're in 2017, and you're
And
bragging
your point.
about something that is your one accomplishment for the state for
Hey,
1972.
hey, really? Anyway. Anyway. No love in the studio, folks. I'm just telling you. Conduit provides a variety, basically, and I'm thinking it may be a conduit system here in Des Moines.
Okay.
I don't know if you ever parked downtown and used the meter that you can actually now use cards for.
Yeah.
In the case of Santa Fe, New Mexico, which you're converting now, and Indianapolis that they did 5 years ago, and it was common for a lot of cities. Cities had old meters, broken meters, haven't been able to raise prices in years. Was a problem because people wouldn't pay the meter. Then trying to do enforcement was a nightmare. In comes conduit. Let me talk about Indianapolis for a minute. They had 3,600 parking spaces, low parking turnover, broken meters, and flat rates for 30 years. They needed new meters and next-generation technology to meet the needs and parking demands of the city. Conduit comes in with a private-public partnership. They put $20 million up front, replace all the meters. Then their subsidiary, Park Indy LLC, handles everything. The collection, the enforcement, everything, and splits the money with the city. That $20 million up front is leveraged to $600 million in revenues.
Really?
Split with the city of Indianapolis. And the best part, it's a 10-year agreement. If Indianapolis feels these folks ain't cutting it, they can kick them out.
And then they're back to taking care of it.
Yeah, or getting somebody else.
Okay.
It's crazy because what they did, bringing in technology, you get an app, and they actually optimized parking availability by letting people know where the spots are. So you knew that,
which would be incredibly helpful.
yeah. So and it helped with the turnover. It helped with a lot of things. The best part, they streamlined. If you do get a ticket, you can pay for it online. You don't have to go downtown like you would have had to in the city situation. Basically, they developed a whole suite of technologies that I thought would just blew me away. Things like eTIMS, which is a fully integrated web-based violations processing system that supports all aspects of the parking ticket life cycle, from the management, database management, delinquent collections, legal notices, credit bureau reporting, and tax refund withholding. They are all the way deep. That's a fully automated system. City doesn't have to mess with it. Another system they call Merge, a citywide smart parking solution that is working to change the amount of congestion caused by people who cruise around looking for parking spaces. They first introduced this in LA in 2012. It is a smart grid for parking, enabling guided parking, predictive enforcement, meter and pay-by-cell management, and demand-based pricing, all layered with analytics to increase parking program efficiencies and reduce traffic congestion. They automated the process, meaning chances go up you're liable to find a parking space, and for the city, if you don't pay, they don't have to chase you. They got this handled, all integrated, which makes me think of other applications that are probably theirs. Because, of course, like I said, in our town, you can actually pay by card. But imagine an app, particularly if you're downtown a lot, that will let you know where the parking is. Then they got some cool stuff that they developed for Los Angeles that I think they'll be rolling out across the country called Go LA, an intuitive mobile app that helps Los Angeles public transit users take advantage of multimodal transportation by comparing trips based on factors such as speed, cost, sustainability, or healthiest combination. Bus, car, heck, for all I know, bike. And then something called Multipark, a scalable parking system that provides complete operational and management control of the car park equipment for the single or multiple sales. They're taking the back office of the whole parking experience and modernizing it so the consumer wins, the city wins, and everybody's better because there's less friction, more parking.
And as you and I both know, so we've been down in our entertainment district. how hard it is on a Friday or Saturday night to find a spot. And you're driving around until one opens.
Usually I'm not in the entertainment district.
Well, that's your problem.
Ooh, ouch. Hater. Wow. Okay. Now they're getting ready to do the same thing to Santa Fe.
Okay.
They're going to upgrade their former parking management system, install CitySight on all handheld devices beginning next month. Phenomenal. Conduit is a leading provider of advanced parking management and other mobility solutions, including electric toll collection and transit and public transport and safety, which offers automatic, analytics-based, personalized services for government agencies, and they've been at it in 27 countries for more than 40 years.
Are we going to get to the point where there's going to be an app on your phone where you can pay to get on the bus?
I wouldn't doubt that. Finally, when I return, battery storage becomes the new it thing for the future of power storage and distribution, and your next car may play an important role. You're riding shotgun with Ken Chester and RoadWorthy Drive.
RoadWorthy Drive. Like us on Facebook.
Trouble?
You know me, I can't be in trouble. I'm the adult in the room.
Okay.
Now, I have a few questions.
Conduit, though.
Right. You had said something about demand-based pricing. Does that mean the price for that same parking spot will fluctuate as to how much it's going to cost you? So
It could, particularly if it's in a particularly high demand or low demand area.
No, I'm saying the same exact parking space. Like if I wanted to park there Tuesday afternoon.
Depends where it is, though.
No, I'm saying the same exact parking spot.
We're miscommunicating.
Yes, we are. So you have parking spot A, okay? It's right in front of the Civic Center, okay? Is that parking spot still going to cost me the same amount of money on Tuesday when there's nothing happening as opposed to Thursday when there's a concert going on?
That would depend on how they set it up with the city, but in a true flex mode situation,
Right.
I would expect it to be higher during like a concert or something and lower when there wasn't.
Okay.
And that only makes sense.
And then the other thing is, what of companies like this, where they're taking advantage of the parking, what does that mean for the autonomous future when parking's going to be non-existent?
Not necessarily. Those cars got to go somewhere.
Not necessarily.
Yeah,
if
they
they're
do.
part...
Well, they're going to have to go someplace where
And
like,
here's
there's
the
a
thing.
collection spot, or if one of the, like Uber or one of those companies are going to have a lot somewhere to put those cars.
Or you may have vehicles that are on demand for on-demand basis in those parking spots.
And they roll
Conduit
out of
will
there.
Make a deal, with either an Uber or whatever for some sort of probably, it may be base pricing, but it may be at a lower rate. But the beautiful part is
Look at the clock.
the system gives them the ability to do it.
To do that.
Hold it. Let me get my clock set.
Yep.
Fourth segment, which is 8:50, right?
Yep.
Hold on, I'm not there.
I know. I just looked up at the clock.
I'm glad you did.
So am I.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, here we go.
Mhm.
Quiet, please.
Quiet, please. Are we in Hollywood?
You can't talk when I start the recording.
You know that all I want to do when he does that is make like a bunch of noise.
I know. Oh, my goodness.
Again, why I'm the adult in the room, but go on.
If you're just tuning in, this is not a bunch of crazies. This is the last segment of RoadWorthy Drive. Honest, I promise. Thank you for peeking in. I'm Ken Chester. Now, during this final segment of the hour, we're talking around battery storage. I know. Sounds dull and boring, right? Thinking about you, Sasha.
What?
Yeah. Not so fast. Falling prices for battery storage, increasing range and duration of current battery tech, and enormous factories like Elon Musk's Gigafactory in Nevada, along with plans for a similar one like it in Europe, are changing the power landscape in ways nobody could have predicted even 5 years ago. The way things are evolving, your next car may actually make you money by just being parked. Let's talk about this a little bit. Recent study by McKinsey and Company, and I've got to apologize, and Sasha's going to get me for this because it's June of this year. It's actually a few months old. Yeah, I know, but it's still, please, let it go. Let it go. Storage prices are dropping much faster than anyone expected, due to the growing market for consumer electronics and the demand for electric vehicles. Major players in Asia, Europe, and the United States are all scaling up lithium-ion manufacturing to serve EVs and other power applications. Get this, though. No surprise, then, battery pack costs are down to less than $230 per kilowatt hour last year compared to almost $1,000 back in 2010.
So it has come down fairly quickly.
Yeah.
And continues to fall. Imagine this. Imagine a car that has batteries, lithium-ion batteries, that when not in use could actually feed the grid or power your house.
Well, and I'm still trying to figure out how you're going to power the grid if you're sitting at work, for example.
And it's an easy thing. We talked about an algorithm that that this university developed, now that I think about it, that figured out how to sell excess power to the grid and actually improve the ability of the battery to hold a greater charge.
Yep.
And they had it worked out. And I want to say, I forget the numbers, but basically it could do it. And the way that battery chemistry works, in doing that and figuring out the algorithm, actually creating a draw on the battery, selling it into the grid, actually improves the life and the ability of the battery to hold a deeper charge for a longer period.
Yeah. You see that now with like your laptops and everything else. It works better if you have a constant stream of energy going through the battery as opposed to just pulling the battery and recharging the battery.
Well, see, and I was always taught that, no, it's not what you do.
Yeah, well, welcome to the brave new world.
Okay.
McKinsey research has found that storage is already economical for many commercial customers to reduce their peak consumption levels. Here's the challenge in this study. We've got a rising tide of vehicles that need to be recharged.
Yep.
Doesn't take a lot of power, they really don't, to recharge. Usually either at work or at home or a supercharger for your Tesla or somewhere. This is balanced with the ability that the falling cost of the batteries actually makes storage of power a reasonable alternative.
And aren't the batteries getting lighter?
I don't know so much about lighter, but they're getting more dense and they're getting more effective. The big issue is called full grid defection. I would think that preppers would call that being off the grid.
Off the grid. Yep.
It's not, and I'm going to say, it looks like with the way things are going, it ain't just for preppers no more.
No.
With this falling cost, batteries are being looked at in different ways. In fact, we did a piece, and Sasha did a piece, of batteries coming out of electric cars that can no longer hold that level of charge.
Right.
Could be repurposed and stacked together as stationary power storage facilities still, and repurposed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you're thinking about this, then comes the problem for the electric utilities. Well, out here in the upper Midwest, our utility has put off building power plants for years because they've gone totally wind power. I just came back from a trip, as I mentioned, to Massachusetts, where I saw solar farms. And not one, several. Large solar farms. So with the falling prices of alternative energy, the grid now changes, and that presents a whole lot of issues because right now today you have a power plant.
Right.
And from the power plant you have high tension wires going out around it, and you have substations to step it down, and it's delivered.
Right.
Imagine if you could distribute the power in such a way where it was extremely local for charge and draw.
So we're talking about your car could power your house.
Or a few cars could power your neighborhood.
So, like, let's say you're a company, right? And you decide to allot, we'll just say 10 car spaces. You use maybe a graphene-based paint that will help take the charge from the vehicle. The vehicle gains power solar or wirelessly, and the power can either go into the factory where you're pulling into work, and you get a subsidy from your job, depending on how much your vehicle subsidizes that building, or you can go directly to the grid.
Mm-hmm. And we talked about a story in Europe where Nissan, I believe it was Denmark, was doing an experiment where their cars parked, their electric cars, was actually providing power back into the grid and paying their owners.
Yep.
Okay, but again, didn't you just mention something about the fact that there may be a hiccup in all of this?
There's always a hiccup as things develop, but again, we talk about swirling technologies, and this is one of those. We've got an increase in battery cars that need a charge. On the same token, we've got internal combustion engines, we've got natural gas power plants, we've got a need, and we've had this need, to update our long-distance, high-voltage power lines. Imagine if you needed fewer and maybe none at all.
I could see that helping out quite a bit.
But here's the problem. If you've got a number of people using battery storage as in place of power generation and only using the grid as backup for reliability, you've got fewer people in the system to pay for all that. And that, my friend, seems to be the biggest of the problems. But it's the new thing. Falling prices, it's going to change the way power is generated in things. Too much topic, not enough time. Story of my life. In any case, be sure to tune in next time when we do it all again with the latest automotive info that you need to know. On behalf of the Roadworthy Drive team, thank you for tuning in. This has been Roadworthy Drive with Ken Chester.
Roadworthy Drive with Ken Chester is a copyrighted presentation of the Roadworthy Drive Radio Network. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or any other use is prohibited without the written consent of the Motor News Media Corporation.
Love it when I hit those times. Battery storage. Another one of those things swirling around you right now. It's going to affect you probably in ways you hadn't realized, even if you don't own your own home. Could happen in an apartment building, could happen in your neighborhood, but it's going to happen. And imagine if the next car you own actually pays you. Well, on behalf of Jack, Sasha, and myself, thank you for watching another one of our episodes of Roadworthy Drive Behind the Scenes. Until next time, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.